Well, I guess I came on a little early because it's a little delayed, but I guess I can keep my nerves because nobody's here yet. They say waiting for folk to come into the room. Hey, okay, somebody's coming. This is from the film festival from YouTube. Okay, okay. I guess we're doing it now. One person watching. So, the reason I'm here tonight is this is going to be the first time I attempt to do a podcast of any kind. I guess you should be careful about what you say when you say what you will not do. And basically, what I said was I would never do a podcast. So I guess I need to start testing that in other ways and say I would never have a multi-billion-dollar company. Maybe that's what I need to start saying. So we're gonna give folk a few more minutes to come in, and we're gonna get started. Like one other person that I may know. Jackson Film Festival, is that the interns or is that us on YouTube? All right. Well, I got one person here. Yes. Okay. Cool. Are you on YouTube or you on Facebook? Because it has the YouTube symbol. Um, Oh, I guess my sister's there. Oh, you on both? Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Well, the reason I'm here tonight is we're going to start a discussion about becoming. This is absolutely something that has revolutionized my life. When I look back on the 10 years of being a filmmaker, I can start seeing little breadcrumbs. And as I started to see it, I started realizing that my life was not. It wasn't luck. It was by design. And now, looking back over those years, there's so much wisdom, so many things that I saw that God had His hand in. And now, as I get ready to go into this next venture in my life, it's like this is my social experiment. It's like testing to kind of see, did this really work? But I know it did. But it's one thing to look back over your life, but now I'm going to see, I'm going to document this next phase. And what I'm hoping is that people will get something from this. What I'm hoping is that this will kind of help you recognize that your dreams are very possible. And if I can be a filmmaker for 10 years here in Mississippi, you absolutely can do whatever it is that God put in your heart to do. So without further ado, we're going to go and kick off the show. All right. Come back in a second. All right, look, we're back. Definitely kind of nervous and excited all at the same time, trying to do this. And this is what really has me nervous. I am literally doing this by myself. Normally, if we're doing film, I got other people around me who are controlling the camera, controlling everything else that goes. So if something go wrong, I can blame them. And here I am tonight, and I can't blame Phil at all because Phil has absolutely nothing to do with this. And I had other people on the team that want to come in and help. But I said no because this was a fear of mine. So this next season is really about facing those fears, and I'm going to face those fears in public a lot of times because a lot of times in filmmaking, we show you the perfected version, and that's how my life had become. Like I'm a practice, and then I show you when it's perfect. But I think I discredit my kids, and I think I discredit a lot of you because you didn't see those mistakes, and I will come and share them. But it's one thing to have them, think about them, But sometimes those mistakes need to happen in real time, so you can kind of see how do we get up. And that's one of the things that I'm really big on trying to teach my kids. Is like, okay, you fail, but how do you get back up? And that's really important. So what we're gonna do, I pre-recorded, but I kept some of the mistakes in this class that I was teaching. I'm gonna listen to it. It's about 15 minutes. Hope that you glean some truth from it. And I'm in the comment section. If you want to kind of ask some questions, I'll be right there answering questions with you. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk. And I'm going to share some events that's coming up. And this is probably going to last about 45 minutes. But if you got questions, we'll see how that goes. All right, here we go.
Hey everybody, this is Maximus Wright. Thank you for coming in for our first episode of Becoming with Maximus Wright. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I am a filmmaker. I've been a filmmaker for the last 10 years. And basically what I have learned in the last 10 years is that it's not about the journey as far as getting to the destination that you're trying to get to. It's really about who you become along the way. And becoming became a theme because I realized that somewhere along the way I was changing. And I was changing for the better, but my focus wasn't on changing really. My focus was on trying to get the money. It was trying to get the film made. It was on all the other things other than enjoying this trip that I was taking. So I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it.
Action.
Welcome everyone. This is Becoming with Maximus Wright. I forgot how my name went, right? Let's just jump into it, all right? So let's look into the book here. We have this ebook that we're offering, to go along with this podcast. And it's kind of like a study guide, but it's also what I'm pulling from to kind of help us understand what becoming is. When we look at the first line of the book, the first line comes out that no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. And I think when I accepted that fact, especially when I started getting into filmmaking, it kind of made things a little easier, but it was terrifying all at the same time. Once I realized nobody was coming to save me. So let's read a little bit. The moment you decide to pursue your dreams for real will be an act of rebellion. If you're like me and you're committing to your dreams at the age of 40 and above, this will be considered a midlife crisis, and those who love you most will be compelled to save you from yourself, right? I am totally fascinated with Viking movies. It's just something about these Viking movies that do it for me. You hear me? I mean, Valhalla, Last Kingdom. So I went through these series like twice, right? And then I realized today before I was coming to the class is that, this ties into one of my favorite Viking movies. It's not really a Viking movie. It's a Scottish movie called Braveheart. And when I realized that Braveheart, and they were talking about King Robert, they were talking about the Robert from The Last Kingdom. And I know some of y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, but trust me, I'm totally geeking out on Viking movies. But then I was sitting there thinking, what is it about a Viking movie that just do it for me? And you know what it is? It's the hero's journey. It's the whole thing about the hero's journey, right? And when you're talking about starting out on your dream and going out there, it is totally a hero's journey. And for those of you who don't know what a hero's journey is a story type where the main character goes off on an adventure. And it's the adventure that transforms the main character through some type of crisis, some existential crisis, whatever it is, whatever battle that there is that they're going through. It is not so much obtaining what it is that they're on their quest for, it's who they become along the way. And that's kind of like how we got with becoming. Because I know some of you all got something that you really, really, really want. But what it has taken me 10, 15 years to learn, the real goal is not obtaining what you're after. It's who you become along the way. And that's when I started my journey 10 years ago, being a filmmaker. And it didn't start out pretty. It didn't start out pretty at all. I'm over 40. I'm 40 years old, and I'm telling my family, I'm finna quit my full-time job, and I'm finna make a film. And you know something? For those of you who don't know where I live in Mississippi. Now, if I lived in LA, you kind of halfway got there. If I lived in Atlanta, you're like, I don't know. But the fact that I was in Mississippi and there was no one around me at that time that was doing full-time filmmaking in Mississippi, it was like a pipe dream on crack. That's exactly what I said. A pipe dream on crack. Because my folk thought I had lost my mind. But I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing, right? Because I couldn't go to sleep at night. I couldn't rest. And there was something that was compelling me stronger than anything that had compelled me before. Because I had made money before. I had been married before. I had some children. I had done all the things. I had done all the things that said this was the American dream, but I was still empty. I was still empty, and I had all these talents and abilities and gifts, but it wasn't taking me anywhere. And I couldn't sleep at night. I wasn't happy. And it seemed like no matter how much I obtained in this other direction, I wasn't fulfilled. I was terrified to step out because one, I don't know if I didn't tell y'all, I had no training. I didn't go to film school. I didn't have any money, and I didn't have any Hollywood connections. So if you were a betting person, the odds were extremely stacked against me. But this is one of the greatest lessons that you can ever learn about becoming. When it is your hero's journey, it ain't supposed to make sense to anybody else. It's just supposed to feel good to you. And notice I didn't say it needs to make sense to you. I said it needs to feel good to you. Because when I started writing that script and I didn't have final draft, I'm writing in a notebook, no format. I don't even know how to set it up right. But as I was writing those stories, I was laughing. I had real joy. And I wake up and it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm still writing. The first sign to know if you're going in the right direction is something that's very, very simple. Does it make you happy? Does it make you happy? Because alignment is about feeling good. And we hear a lot of people talking about an alignment, and you're like, what am I aligning to? You know? So what has to come before alignment is this little thing that I call awareness, right? This would be the hardest thing you have ever done, not because you're supported in ways you think you should, not because you may not have all the money, resources, or connections to make the dream a reality, because your subconscious mind and actual body will be fighting you every step of the way until you become in full alignment of who you really are. The real you, not the one you pretended to be for acceptance and not to be ridiculed. So when we start talking about alignment, and the reason why I question people when they start talking about it, I'm saying, well, what are you in alignment with? Are you in alignment with the person you've always been pretending to be? Or have you found the real you along the way? And that's what the journey does. The journey introduces you to who you really are. It introduces you to who you were really meant to be. Because we're saying, why don't anybody support me? Why ain't nobody helping me in all this? Because one, you've been in appeasement all your life, trying to please everybody, trying to get them to understand who you are, trying to see where you're coming from. And this is the price of admission. The price of admission is letting go all of that to find you. Am I making sense? Yes. Am I making any sense? Yeah, because I don't want y'all just looking at me. You know what I'm saying? Yes. When we start talking about awareness, I mean, like, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know like little simple stuff. I didn't know like what I really liked, like cologne and stuff. Like I used to buy cologne based upon how other people responded to it. Like if I go into a department store, I'm putting on 7 or 8 different colognes, and I'm asking the girl like, which one smell good? And whichever one the most women said smell good, that's the one I wore. I wasn't buying cologne because it smelled good to me. I was buying cologne because it smelled good to other folk. You know what I'm saying? And I tell women this all the time. If it was just up to guys, we'd be living in a hut, walking around on riding a bicycle. We wouldn't be buying cars. We definitely wouldn't be buying no mansion and nothing like this. We doing this because we trying to impress y'all. But I was clueless when it came down to what I want. Robert, I didn't know, man. I didn't know like little simple stuff like what do I really like? Because I was spent my whole life trying to impress other people because I felt like if they felt good about me, then I could feel good about me. But I need to get their approval first. But then I met Marvin Jones, and Marvin Jones changed everything. I couldn't stand Marvin Jones. So I never really struggled with jealousy, but when I met Marvin Jones, I think that's like one of the first time I was really jealous of somebody. So let me explain who Marvin Jones is. So I come from a little small town called Yazoo City, and Marvin Jones was this light-skinned guy who was in the class, quiet, and he was light-skinned when light-skinned was real popular. I'm talking about like Al B. Sure popular. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Christopher Williams popular. I'm talking about El DeBarge popular. You know, this was before Wesley came in, and I got looked over totally because I'm brown-skinned, you know, so, but Marvin was light-skinned when light-skinned was real popular. So, but Marvin was an anomaly to me because Marvin didn't fit none of the regular norms of cool, none of the regular norms of popular, you know, because now we living in a Jabot age. We living in a gangster Nike age. We living in a crisscross age. We talking about 90s at its finest, right? And here go Marvin wearing Izod shirts. You know, not the cool Izod shirts. He wearing the old faded Izod shirts. He ain't wearing Nikes. He wearing Chuck Taylors. He wearing Converse. You know, Marvin was wearing Wranglers, and everybody else was wearing Jabots and Levi's, Silver Tabs. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Listen, you at a certain age, you know, if you had a Coca-Cola shirt and some Silver Tabs in the gangster night, you was in the game. If you had some K-Swiss and some duck head, if you had that tennis outfit together, you was in the game. Marvin didn't wear any of that stuff. But the girls were crazy about him. They loved Marvin. But he didn't say nothing to nobody. He didn't talk. Marvin would come to class like school was an inconvenience for him. I couldn't wait to get to school. All my friends were there, all the people I was hanging with, and all the girls I wanted their attention. When they weren't paying attention to Marvin, I was trying to get their attention. But Marvin sitting in the class with a number 2 pencil behind his ear, a notebook, didn't even carry a book bag, and he'd just be sitting in class like this, not even paying attention. But this was the problem. Marvin made straight A's. We went on to classes. Marvin did, I'm carrying books. I'm up here trying to start study groups, and Marvin will show up with a number 2 pencil, finish for everybody, just be sitting there at the end of class, and then they say 100. He'd get 100. And I'm up here barely getting by. So the Joker was smart, but he didn't talk to folk. He wasn't trying to fit in. School was over with, he went home. But I was like, how is he getting all this attention, but he ain't doing any of the regular cool stuff, right? So one day, and Marvin also was artistic. So we'll be in class and he'll draw something. I mean, he was left-handed and he would just draw stuff. I mean, he was just, I don't know, the dude was exotic in a way. You know what I'm saying? He just had something. It was just driving me crazy because this was the first time I realized whatever he had, I did not have. I didn't have it because I was totally concerned about what everybody thought about me. Marvin really did not care. And in his not caring, he got it. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I tried to fake his move. You know, I tried to fake the funk. I tried to act like I didn't care about nothing. You know, I tried to act like I don't care about nothing. I still didn't get the same results because it wasn't in my heart. It was in this boy's heart. So I finally saw Marvin one day out of school when we was at the gym. We was out at the park shooting basketball. And I said, oh, I got him. Oh, I got this Joker. I got Marvin now, Robert. I got him. Because now he was in my world. We wasn't at school. We were with the brothers. We was in the hood. We were shooting basketball. And I said, yeah, Marvin, come on out here. I'm bouncing that rock. I'm like, yeah, boy, come on. Let me go and put this thing on you. So now this was my turn to get this Joker back for the secret competition he and I had that he had no idea we was having. Right? So Marvin came out there bouncing the left ball, and then he throw a ball up, hit a jump. I'm like, okay, good shot. So I'm ready to go and work him. This boy was better at basketball than he was at school and women. This Joker was like the Black Larry Bird out there with that left hand. I mean, he's shooting. Listen, Marvin was so good that the grown-ups was fighting for him to be on the team. I mean, I was like totally flabbergasted down. I said, I can't beat this Joker at nothing. You hear me? This boy was so good that we would be pulling up, and when they saw him opening the door of the car, they were kicking folk off their team to pick him up, and he was in the 9th grade, and these were grown men, and he'll be like, okay, I'll be back. And you know what that meant? We had to sit there until he lost, and we were waiting all day because nobody was going to pick us up because the men had the court. I said, forget it. I'm going to join him. I can't beat him. I'm gonna join him. I'm gonna become his friend. But I wanted to know what was his secret. He was into different kind of stuff, man. He was in the Prince before everybody else was in the Prince. You know, like his music taste. And then what I realized was Marvin was only doing stuff that made Marvin happy. And I was like, who ever thought that could work? He wasn't buying clothes that everybody else, he bought what he liked. Man, if I would have bought something and they would have laughed, that'd been the last time I wore that. My brother had this saying, and I believe this. My brother said, he said, I like my women like my shoes. We might have to edit this out, but I'm gonna tell you what he said. I like my women like my shoes. If I walk down the street and don't nobody compliment my own shoes, I'm getting rid of them shoes and that woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's where, and listen, and that affected me, man. I'm sitting up here saying, if I walk around and ain't nobody tell me this cologne smell good, oh, it's time to get some more. It's time to get some more cologne. You know, you know what I'm saying? My life was totally, and here I got this guy who could care less. I was like, what's keeping him up? How does he do this? And then the thing about it was people conformed to him. You know, they tried to ridicule him, but he didn't care because the girls liked him. He liked himself. And it's just like the world just bent to him. And then folk were like, oh man, Marvin cool, man. You know, Marvin cool. And I'm sitting up here tap dancing and everything, doing flips and all this, man. And I couldn't get them jokers to pay attention to me for nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible, man. It was horrible. But he brought awareness to my life that like, he got something and it's not tangible. There's something intangible that he has that I don't have, that I know I need, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get so secure with what I wanted or what I thought, right? I didn't know how to get there.
Okay. I was hoping that I was going to be able to see the comments from Facebook, but I do have my phone over here, so I will try to respond as I see them. The comments that are kind of feeding the StreamYard is mostly from YouTube. But before we start getting into that, formulate your thoughts and your questions. But I got a couple, you got to pay the bill a little bit, so we got a couple commercials, so check them out.
Hey everyone, this is Maximus Wright, and I want to talk about a masterclass that I'm teaching at the Jackson Film Fest, Tuesday, July 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at Tougaloo College. It's the masterclass called Becoming. Becoming is a combination of the 10 years that I have lived being a filmmaker full time, the craziness, and how I survived. This class is not just about how to become a filmmaker, but this class is about how do you take a dream and go from nothing to actually making it happen. We're going to reverse engineer all the things that I've learned, and we're going to share those secrets with you. And this is not just about becoming a better filmmaker or a better dreamer or a better entrepreneur. It's how do you have joy along the way? Because joy was something that invaded me in a lot of those years that I was being, and then I was making this great dream happen, but I didn't have any joy. So I want to share this with you because this is not just something that I think works. This is something I know works because I've been sharing this with my family and my friends, and now it's time that I share it with you. So join us Tuesday, July 22nd at 6:30 at the Jackson Film Festival at Tougaloo College so I can share Becoming with you. Thank you.
You know what I'm most proud of? I am most proud of that I don't have a tech person here doing this with me because there's nothing, I have never been technical like that. And what is crazy is the new venture that I'm going on. I don't know when I'm gonna share it. It is the most technical thing I've ever done. So you're watching me learn and grow in public, something that I really, really, really do not like to do. But we are here. So what I want to do is I want to kind of answer some of you all's questions. I don't want to do all this talking. I only want to be on here about 45 minutes. So I am looking at my cell phone to see whatever questions that you come up because I have not figured out how to populate inside of uh, StreamYard as of yet. So if you have any questions or ideas or thoughts that you want me to expound upon, anything about awareness, anything we start talking about alignment or becoming, any of those things, I want to take this time to kind of try to answer those questions if possible. So while there's a lag in this, I'm gonna go ahead and play the next commercial. And so by the time the commercial plays, hopefully you all will be ready to jump in with questions if you have. Okay, here we go.
Look, I know how hard you had it and all the what you've been through. But I knew you were special the first time I laid eyes on you.
Cause your love is the only place for me.
Stop with the pity party. You are the only person you got to be concerned with, all right? You and that little girl.
That's when my heart is free. What else is there for me? What else is there? What else is there for me?
Okay, I hope we got a question. Tony, my sister, do you think Marvin was in alignment and that's why it was so easy for him? Let me tell you something about Tony. Tony was so in love with Marvin when we was in high school that she literally took my yearbook and put little hearts and stuff around it. She was a little girl and she was crazy about this guy. And that just added insult to injury. That even my sister is so infatuated with him that she just couldn't wait for him to come by the house and talk. What Marvin had was awareness. You know, he was in tune with himself. Uh, I was always taught not to care about how you feel. You know, like even when it came down to work. And basically, our feelings were not given to us not for any reason. Our feelings were given to us as a GPS. And Marvin was always in tune with how he felt. And it didn't matter what other people thought because he realized something that took me years to realize. He had to be with himself all the time. So he made choices based upon how it made him feel. And what I didn't realize then, and what some of us still don't realize now, is that's how success happens. That's how we align with destiny. Now, these feelings that we got, these emotions, they are not just things to drive us crazy. They are really direction. What you feel is a direction. When I started getting into filmmaking, it was a feeling. It was not a knowledge. It was not facts. It was a feeling. It was an emotion. It was something that was pulling me. And the more and more I yielded to what I was feeling, the more clarity I got, the more direction I got. So he just kind of made it. He was that reference point for me to understand what it was. But he was in alignment because his whole dreams was that he was going to go to Mississippi. He was going to go to LSU. He was going to go to the Marines, go to LSU, and he was going to go to the NBA. He did not go to the NBA, but he did go to the Marines. And he played in the Marines, and this boy averaged like 30 points a game. And I remember talking bad. I was like, well, you didn't average no 30. That means you had to have 50 points at least twice, at least once. He said, I had it twice, so he shut me up again. But he fell in love with his wife, and that kind of deterred him. But he always had a life that he was happy with. And I think that's what I learned most about him. So I think he was in alignment, Tony, to answer your question. Tisha, was Marvin an only child? Yes, he was. That was a good pickup. Marvin was an only child, and also his mama taught him how to play basketball. He said his mother taught him everything. She taught him how to play basketball. She taught him how to draw. So all those things, yes, that's a great pickup. Yes, he was an only child, and yes, I do see the same thing in you because you're gonna do what makes you happy. We just now got to get the courage to cross that lake and do the things that you are in your heart to do. But you do choose those things. So I do admire that about an only child. Nicole, how do you think awareness comes so easy for Marvin? Was it inherited from his parents? Yeah, I think it was. And plus his family, the Jones family, they were close knit, but they were very loving and supportive. So his environment was one that really encouraged him to find himself. And unfortunately, a lot of times we don't come up in those type of environments. But what I'm trying to prove right now is it's not too late because some of us we have the talent, but we're just afraid. You know, we're still trying to overcome some of that childhood trauma that we were facing. Let me see, what else do we have here? Tiffany, when and how did you find your awareness? You know, I really feel like I'm still in search of that awareness. I think I have improved a lot, but I think making films, you know, when I first started doing Soul Damage, that definitely started turning it around for me. Because I was going against everything that I had been taught. You know, I was doing something that, you know, that everyone thought was crazy, but it felt good to me. And that's what we don't have. We instinctively in our hearts we know what feels right, but we've been so conditioned not to do what feels right, but do what makes sense to everybody else. But what making sense to everybody else is what has us miserable, right? Isn't this what's killing us at this moment? Trying to do everything to make everybody else happy, but not doing the things that bring us joy. But we're the ones that got to live in this body 24/7. So filmmaking, losing everything, and filmmaking was the only thing that was left because I lost everything. And I say, well, I ain't got nothing else to lose. I might as well go for something that I really care about, and that kind of changed everything for me. So I think, Tiffany, to answer your question, I think when I hit rock bottom and I said, you know something, I've done everything everyone else thought I should do. So let me go out to what I feel that I should do that will make me feel good. And I think that's when it started turning for me. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to keep y'all on all night, but we had 30 minutes. I said we're gonna do 45. I don't know. Are there any other questions? Some things that you definitely want us to get more into. But I do know this. When we start talking about our hearts and doing what's in our hearts are our GPS system. They are absolutely our GPS system. And that is something that I definitely must continue to press upon you. When it starts coming down to your dream, it doesn't make sense to everybody. It doesn't matter if everybody else agrees with it or not. What matters is, does it feel right to you? And if it feels right to you, it is worth exploring. Because, man, I never knew I could have a life this good. And it's not because of money per se and all these things. It is, I live a dope life. And I tell people that all the time. My friends, I tell them, I said, look, I live a dope life. And it's not because I'm balling out of control like my friend Reggie Hill, who is literally spending his 26th anniversary in Spain and Barcelona, sitting on the Mediterranean Sea right now. But I love what I do. I love my life now. And I remember it just being miserable. And I was doing all the things that everyone thought I should do. But when you align with who you were meant to be, waking up is a joy. You don't even want to go to sleep at night. And I used to hear people say that, and I did not believe them at all. But I'm here to tell you, from the other side of this river, from doing what it is that has really been put in my heart to do, this is absolutely the life that you can have. And the universe will conspire to help you, because when God created you, every cell in your DNA was set to do the things that were in your heart. Because who put it in your heart in the first place? It's just people who can't see the vision that's trying to convince you not to do it. But what's inside your heart? It doesn't have to make sense, but does it feel good? Does it make sense for you? Because the vision is not given for the person that you are right now. The vision is given for the person that you're going to become. And the journey, the misunderstandings, the not knowing what to do, that's your hero's journey. And that's your real life. Not just going to work, paying the bills. That's not your life. That journey of something that's in your heart and pursuing that, that's your hero's journey. And that's where you're going to find joy. But most importantly, that's where you're going to find yourself along the way. Okay, let's see if there are some questions here. I kind of went out there for a second, but hey. Do you feel as if you're reaching the joy you want from the journey? Absolutely, Tisha. Absolutely. What is interesting is that right when I got comfortable here, I've been given another challenge. So now I got a little fear, because I'm about to take a kind of pivot. I'm still going to be in film, but it's a pivot. So right now I got a little fear, but absolutely the joy. Tiffany Moses, is there a spiritual component to this as well? You said, do it makes you feel right, but it's the journey. But it's absolutely spiritual, because the scripture when it says that the world waits for the real sons of God, for the something of this time are not worthy to be compared to the glory which shall be revealed in us. I really think when God puts a dream inside of us, when we step into that, think about that. The people who really inspire you are the people who really live in their dreams, because it's something resonating inside of you to saying, I can do that. And if God made us to put these desires in us, as a parent, the greatest joy that I have is to see my kids live out their dreams, to become who I know they could be. That's like the highest form of spirituality, because now you're walking in purpose. Now you're walking in the very thing that you were sent here to be in the very first place. There's a scripture that says that God puts the will and the to do. He puts the desire and the ability to do those things inside of us. And when we start, and listen, does it take more faith to step out and do what you were made to be, or something that's safe and do this what everybody expects? I mean, God made all this variety. So now I absolutely just believe this is a spiritual thing. Les Brown said something that forever changed my life. He said that God's gift is life to us, and how we live that life is our gift back to God. So when you look at your life, you ask yourself, am I giving God a really good gift? Any other questions here? Y'all asked some great questions. Yeah, y'all asked some great questions. Do you feel there's a peace, Sanette? I know I do. Now, I have great peace. I'm not sure. What you say? He gives us the desires of our heart. Yeah, yeah, he does, Tisha. Yes, he absolutely does. Um, Uh, oh wow, oh wow. Like I said, it's a little delayed, but look, we have this becoming class. You know, I'm not doing it justice tonight. You know, I'm really just trying to get my legs up under me to try to really understand this. But in this class, man, we're gonna go even deeper into the ebook. Some of you all, did y'all read the ebook? Did some of y'all get the ebook and read the first two chapters? Listen, there's so much more. Uh, when I say that our body is one of the best things that God has ever created. And we have learned to ignore our bodies more than anything. And I'm here to tell you, your body is the GPS of being connected to heaven and being connected to this world. And God designed it in such a way that it will bring you directly into what it is that God has designed for you. But what did we learn? We've learned to ignore it. We've learned to disregard it. We've learned to say, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to it. And it's been the very thing that's really stopping the success that we need to have. As I learn to lean more into what I feel, it has transformed everything for me. I have no pains. Pain is a messenger. When you have a pain, pain is a message to tell you that there is something off. And I really wish we could jump into it tonight, but we're going to jump into it a lot more at the festival. But what pain does, pain is a messenger. And what we're finding out from becoming, we're not only getting in alignment, but a lot of people get healed. And that's something that I've been kind of, like, I don't know if I would go out there, but you ain't got to take my word for it. After a while, you're going to hear people saying it themselves. Because alignment is not just saying, okay, I'm in upright. No, alignment is about holiness. It's about completion. It's about being whole as a person. So that is some very, very, very exciting things that's happening. But I'm going to play this video again because I'm so excited about this project. Miss Sanders, she has a movie coming out, and I cannot listen. You want to talk about alignment. When I first met Miss Sanders told me, you were going to make movies. And I was just there to help somebody with a video. And it was my first time ever doing a music video for Dexter Allen. She said, you're going to make movies. And not only are you going to make movies, one day you're going to do my movie. Can you believe it? 10 years later, I am now getting ready to make her movie. So we're going to play this thing one more time for those who didn't see it. But I'm very proud of this project. This is the teaser from Darkness to Light, the story of Colleen Sanders.
Look, I know how hard you had it and all of what you've been through. But I knew you were special the first time I laid eyes on you.
'Cause your love is the only place for me.
Stop with the pity party. You are the only person you got to be concerned with, all right? You and that little girl.
That's when my heart is free. Where else is there for me? Where else is there? Where else is there for me?
Man, when I think about that, I've been doing this for 10 years. This is crazy. I'm not talking about I had a part-time job at Sonic, whatever, and probably sometimes the kids were like, you need to get one. But I have been doing this for 10 years, and to be doing this in Mississippi, and I'm doing this, you can't tell me what you can't do. You cannot. When I started as a filmmaker, that was when my ex-wife said, hey, these boys are coming to live with you. So not only was I starting, I was a single parent, I guess if that's what you want to call it, but I was responsible for taking care of the kids, taking them to school, the doctors, all of this, as while I was being a filmmaker. Now my family came around me, Lord knows they came around me, and I appreciate them so much. And we created a community, and that community helped me fulfill those dreams and take care of my kids at the same time. And now, all these years later, I am still doing this, and just some of the doors that God is opening now are they're beyond anything that I could ever imagine. So I'm not sharing stuff that I think. I'm telling you what I know. And as I learn more about becoming and surrendering and giving in to what is inside my heart, we keep looking for something out there. And what I'm trying to tell you is that it's inside of us. This journey is to unravel those things, right? So I said that I wasn't going to be longer than 45 minutes. I'm going to end this, but I want to spotlight this artist. His name is Jay Finkel. If you heard the song in Miss Sanders' song, her film, that's a young artist who actually went to school with my son Jeremiah. He's a young artist out of Vicksburg. He's a software developer. But he reached out to me and he said, hey, I got this music. And when I heard it, I fell in love with his music. So we're going to end the broadcast tonight with another song that he has called Ordinary Man. It's called Ordinary Man. And I love this song. And I listen to it almost every day because it is speaking to me and it's helping me to accept that I'm not ordinary. And it's okay not to be ordinary because God did not make us to just be regular. When we step into who we are, it's a very extraordinary thing. So I hope you enjoy this song as much as I do. Thank you all for dealing with me and learning and helping me do this on tonight because this was a big jump for me to do something like this. But I feel good about what I've done. We're going to learn from this. We're going to figure out how to make it even better as we go because this is going to document some very amazing things that you're going to find out about very, very soon. So without further ado, this is Ordinary Man by the artist Jay Finkel. Finkley, my bad.
Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh, oh, oh. When the cares of this world surround me and I can't seem to find my joy, and it feels like my faith is dying, 'cause I'm leaning toward compromising. My heart is searching for truth, 'cause my mind don't know what to do, till I realize that this ain't my demise, 'cause in my Father's eyes I ain't no ordinary man. I ain't no ordinary man. I've got this power within. I've got this power within. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. When the enemy is up against me and it looks like I'll be destroyed, I remember that the one within me is greater than the things that I face. And my faith starts rising like flames, and my fear starts fading away, 'cause I realize I'm on the winning side, and we can't lose a fight. I ain't no ordinary man. I ain't no ordinary man. I've got this power within. I've got this power within. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. You can't hold me. You can't stop me. You can't block me. Whenever I fall down, I never throw in the towel.